Welcome. So this is my third lecture on time series. Here we shall discuss the time series as a stochastic process, what is a continuous and discrete time series, then what is a deterministic and what is a statistical dynamic time series, autocovariance and autocorrelation functions and their properties. Now let us start. Now what is a time series? A time series basically a set of observations which are recorded over time. That means recorded over different time periods. So if that set is continuous, the time series is said to be a continuous. And if that is a discrete, the time series is said to be discrete. For example, the a doctor or a cardiologist taking observation on ECG. So ECG graph, that is a continuous, so it is a continuous time series. So number of accidents in different days in a highway, particularly between two places, so that is a discrete. Similarly, maximum temperature recorded at a particular place on a different days, this is also a continuous. So now in a time series we have different points of time and the values corresponding to those points. So let tau 1, tau 2, tau n, these are the different points and the values we record z tau 1, z tau 2, z tau n up to so on. Now this time period t1, tau 1, tau 2, tau n, this may be at equal intervals or may not be at equal intervals of time. But here we are considering the time series observations taken at equal intervals of time. So tau 1, tau 2, tau t and tau n, these are all equal intervals because in most of the practical cases we get these equal interval cases. For example, rainfall in different days. So day 1, day 2, day 3. So day wise it is recorded. So each interval is 1 day. So most of the time we come across this equal intervals time series. So we consider here this equally spaced time series. Now the discrete type, even though we are studying some continuous variables, the discrete time series may occur by sampling. So for example, consider the example of a furnace in an industry. So continuous there is free air is supplied to the furnace and carbon dioxide is emitted. It is a continuous process and the amount of carbon dioxide emitted from the furnace depends upon the how much air we are allowing to enter. So this is a continuous process, but we are taking the observation suppose at 1 minute intervals. What is the amount of free air and what is the amount of carbon dioxide emitted? We may observe this at the intervals of 1 hour. We may observe it at an intervals of 1 seconds. But here, since we are observing a continuous process at discrete times, so this here the time series that is generated becomes a discrete time series. Again, a discrete time series also occurs when the values over a time period is accumulated. For example, if we consider the amount of rainfall on different days, so here the amount of rainfall is accumulated for the whole day, for all the 24 hours. So here we get a discrete time series. So now in a time series we have one of the variable, it is a bivariate distribution in which one of the variable bivariate data in which one of the variable is time period, other one is the value at that time. So generally we express the value, that is zt, as a function of this time ft. So now if zt is exactly the function of ft, the time series is deterministic because the value is completely determined by time. But in most real life situations, this does not happen. Some disturbances occurs. So the value, it is a function of time that we consider with some random component. So due to this presence of this random component, we need the statistical analysis of a time series, and we use the stochastic process for this analysis. So now the values of a time series is regarded as the particular realization, a particular realization of a stochastic process. So now, since the most important property of a stochastic process is this concept of stationarity, which forms a basis for statistical equilibrium. So a time series, it is said to be strictly stationary if its properties are unaffected by change of origin. That means the probability distribution of m observations corresponding to the time t1, t2, tm, and these m observations are zt1, zt2, ztm. These are the m observations corresponding to the time t1, t2, tm. And suppose we take a small constant k and take the time period at k time or k interval apart. So let the time periods becomes t1 plus k, t2 plus k, tm plus k, and the corresponding values are zt1 plus k, zt2 plus k, ztm plus k. If this if the probability distribution of these m values zt1, zt2, ztm is exactly same as the distribution of probability distribution of zt1 plus k, z2, d2 plus k, ztm plus k, then the time series is said to be a stationary time series, or the time series is said to be strictly stationary time series. Now k is any integer. Now if a time series is not a stationary time series, then it is called as evolutionary or non-stationary time series. So generally a stationary time series, it can be studied by using the mean and variance functions, autocovariance functions, and autocorrelation functions. So in the next we shall consider what is mean function, what is the variance function, and what is the autocovariance function, and what is the autocorrelation function of a time series. Now see the mean function of a time series, that is mu t, expectation of this zt, this is a function of also t, mu t, and the variance function sigma t square, expectation of zt minus mu t whole square. Now for a stationary time series, the mean function is independent of t. So that means this mu t, we are writing only mu, because the expectation of zt for different values of t is same. So for a stationary time series, we write mu t equal to mu and variance sigma t square equal to sigma square. Because mean and variance functions, they do not depend upon the time period, so we can omit this subscript t from this mu and sigma square for a stationary time series. So an estimate of mu and sigma square basing upon the sample values n values z1, z2, zn are the sample mean and sample variance. So sample mean and the sample variance considered as an estimate of this mu and sigma square. This is for a stationary time series. Now consider the autocovariance. What is autocovariance and autocorrelation coefficient? Why this is autocovariance? In What is the difference between autocovariance and the simple covariance terms? Now, as we know that in a time series, the successive values are dependent upon each other. This is the special property of the time series, which is different from that of the regression analysis. If we in regression analysis, if we express the value zt as a function of t plus error, so we can estimate the parameter. But here there is a special property that even though we can express zt in a function of t, but successive values of zt are also dependent. So that is why it is the correlation concept of correlation and covariance are here known as the autocorrelation and autocovariance, because we are considering the covariance between successive terms of a time series, or the successive values of a time series, or the successive values recorded corresponding to different time periods. So we can define the auto covariance of lag k. So lag k means time gap k. So it is the covariance between the value zt and zt plus k. So this is the zt, it is the value of the time series at time t. Zt plus k is the value of the time series at time t plus k. So time difference is k. So that is why it is called as the auto correlation of lag k. We denote it as gamma k equal to covariance of zt plus k. So that is equal to expectation of zt minus mu t, zt plus k minus mu t plus k. Now for similarly the autocorrelation of lag k will be the correlation between zt and zt plus k. So that will be equal to covariance between zt and zt plus k divided by root over of variance of zt into variance of zt plus k, and that is equal to this. Now for a stationary time series, since mu t and mu t plus k are equal, we can replace them by mu. So for a stationary time series, we can write down the gamma k equal to expectation of zt minus mu and zt plus k minus mu. So mu t plus k are replaced by mu and mu here. Similarly, the autocorrelation coefficient of lag k also, here also we are replacing mu t by mu and mu t plus k by mu. So here the numerator, this is the auto covariance of lag k, that we gamma k, and this is the variance. So this is gamma 0, because here this and this have same variance. So we write sigma square, this is gamma 0. So if we put k equal to 0 here, the rho 0, that is equal to gamma 0 by gamma 0, that is equal to 1. That means autocorrelation of lag 0, that is always equal to 1 unit. Now there are some properties of the autocovariance and autocorrelation functions. If we consider a matrix of autocovariance terms and a matrix of autocorrelation terms, then that matrix will be always positive definite. So consider, suppose n values z1, z2, zn and gamma n. This is the autocovariance matrix. We write this gamma 0, gamma 1. Then what is gamma 0? The autocovariance between z1 and z1. So variance of z1. This is gamma 0, variance of z1. And this is gamma 1. Covariance between z1 and z2. This is the covariance between Z1 and Z3. So 1 and 3 gap is 2. So this is gamma 2. And gamma n minus 1. This is the autocovariance between Z1 and Zn. This is gamma, because all they are at n minus 1 distance apart. Lag is n minus 1. Similarly, this is gamma 1. This is the covariance between Z2 and Z1. This is the covariance between Z2 and Z2. So this is gamma 0. So gamma 0, these diagonal terms are always equal to the variance terms, the variance of ZT. So this gamma n, similarly we can define the this is the correlation, autocorrelation matrix. So divide each term by gamma 0. So this will be rho 0 is equal to 1. So diagonal terms are 1. And this is rho 1, rho 2, rho n minus 1. This is the autocorrelation of lag n minus 1. So then this is sigma z square. So this is nothing but the gamma 0. So this becomes the sigma z square into Pn, gamma n covariance, that is equal to variance into correlation matrix. So this is the autocorrelation matrix Pn. So now this is the first property, the autocorrelation matrix, and the autocovariance matrix for a stationary time series, they are positive definite. Now how to prove it? Now let us consider the linear combination of the n values like this, and this is LT. Now we shall find the variance of LT. This will be equal to Li square sigma z square plus Li Lj gamma j minus I, because this is the variance term, this is covariance term, and this is equal to this Li square gamma 0 and Li Lj, this is gamma j minus I. So that is I equal to 1 to nj equal to 1 Li Lj gamma j minus I. Since this is a variance term, this is always greater than 0. So this matrix gamma n is a positive definite matrix. So similarly we can show for a autocorrelation matrix also. Now the second property, conditions satisfied the autocorrelations of stationary process. So we have defined autocorrelations of different lags. So rho 0, rho 1, rho 2, rho 3 like this. So rho 0 is always equal to 1. So if we consider the matrix of autocorrelation of A for n equal to 2, this will be 1, rho 1, rho 1, 0. And since it is positive definite, this is greater than 0. So 1 minus rho 1 square, this is greater than 0. So that means rho 1 lies between minus 1 to plus 1. Similarly for n equal to 3. So here we have three values, 1, rho 1, rho 2. Rho 1, 1, rho 1, rho 2, rho 1, 1. This is greater than 0. And all its subminors are also submatrices of order 2. These are also positive. So 1, rho 1, rho 1, 1. This is also positive. All principal minors. 1, rho 2, rho 2, 1. This is also positive. So from this we get rho 1 and rho 2, these two. Rho 1 lies between minus 1 to plus 1. Here also we get rho 2 lies between minus 1 to plus 1. And if we expand this and consider is a quadratic equation in rho 2, then this is the limit for rho 2. Since this is less than 0 and this is rho 2 lies between this and this. So if now this is in the form of ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. Roots are alpha beta, and this is negative when this root x lies between alpha beta to alpha, because this coefficient is positive. Now here, that is why by simplifying we get this rho 1 rho 2 minus 1 to plus 1, and minus 1 less than rho 2 minus rho 1 square by 1 minus rho 1 square less than 1. Now here we can see both the autocorrelations rho 1 and rho 2 lies between minus 1 to plus 1, and this is another condition that is to be satisfied also. So this is for only three values, z1, z2, z3, and this is a matrix of order 3. So if we consider as n, matrix of order n, so these number of conditions becomes very large number of conditions. So all those conditions satisfied by the autocorrelations of a stationary process. So there is a large number of conditions, those are to be satisfied for the autocorrelations rho 1, rho 2, rho k. So therefore, since there are so many relations are to be satisfied by the autocorrelation coefficients, in addition to their usual limits lying between minus 1 to plus 1, all these conditions can be brought together and can be analyzed by using a concept of spectrum of a time series. Therefore, it is important to consider the spectrum of a time series in order to study the interdependence relationship between the values of the time series. So the third property, stationarity of the linear function, because we are considering the time series is a stationary time series. So any function, linear function of these stationary processes is also a stationary process. We consider the linear function LT of ZT minus 1, ZT minus 2 and ZT minus n plus 1. So this is the linear combination of the n values. So we have to show that LT is also a stationary process, capital LT. So here we consider the covariance between LT and LT minus K. If we consider this covariance, we can just square both sides and then take the summation. Then we can get this LT and LT minus K. This is LT and LT minus K. Just put T minus K in place of T and write this equation. Then multiply and then take the expectation. We can get this. So here this is also a linear stationary process. Now the fourth property, extension to infinite linear operators. Here we have this finite number of terms. We are considering infinite number of terms. So yt here, it is a linear combination of zt minus 1, zt minus 2. These are the values of the time series, infinite number, and their coefficients psi0, psi1, psi2. So this is I equal to 0 to infinity psi I zt minus I. So this is the infinite linear operations on the infinite number of values. And here it is important to note that the zt is a stationary process. So here yt to be stationary, we should have this condition: the sum of the all the coefficients and their absolute values, this must be finite. So this is a condition for yt to be a stationary process. And in this case, once this condition is satisfied, its variance of yt will be this, and this is finite because this condition, and this is the covariance. Covariance is also finite by dominated convergence theorem, we can say, because this is finite. So this one is also, this term is also finite. So this yt is also stationary, and its variance and covariances are given by equation 7 and 8. Now this is the fourth property. Now some special processes, Gaussian process. Now the zt minus 1, zt minus k successive values, this follows a multivariate normal distribution, then the process is called as a Gaussian process. A Gaussian process can be studied, completely studied, if we can know about the mean and variance, because knowing the mean and variance, we can know every property of a Gaussian process. Then weakly stationary. So weakly stationary here, it is a mean function, that is expectation of zt, it is equal to mu, that is independent of t, and this covariance function of lag k, zt plus k, it is a function of k only, that is why we are function of lag gamma k, that is why we are writing it is independent of t. So if these two conditions are satisfied, then we say that it is a weakly stationary. It is important for the statistical analysis of a time series. Now what is a white noise process? So here the successive values a1, a2, at, these values of the time series, these are all IID random variables with zero mean and a constant variance sigma square. So this is a white noise process, and here the autocorrelation function gamma k is expectation of at into at plus k, that is equal to expectation of AT into AT plus K, because expectation of AT equal to 0 and expectation of AT plus K is 0. So this, if K equal to 0, this is expectation of AT into AT, expectation of AT square, that means the variance of AT, sigma A square. And K not equal to 0, since these are uncorrelated, AT and AT plus K are uncorrelated, so this becomes equal to 0, covariance becomes equal to 0. So this process is a second order stationary, because mean function is 0, that means independent of t, and covariance function is a function of time difference. It is a constant. Now the auto covariance and autocorrelation, these are the functions of the lag k, and they do not depend upon the position of t. Only they depend upon this time gap zt to zt plus k. So we can make a graph taking the values of k along x-axis and values of rho k along y-axis. Rho k is much more important than gamma k, because one of the property, these are the correlations, and one of the most important property of the correlations is that they are independent of units of measurement. So that is why we are taking rho k than taking gamma k here. The rho k, when k equal to 0, this rho k is 1, rho 0 is equal to 1. Then this is row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, so like this. So this is decreasing, and here. So depending upon this values of rho k, we have to consider the analysis by considering the order of a moving average, or considering the autoregressive moving average process. These rho k's are important. So once we plot this k and rho k, taking k along x-axis, rho k along y-axis, so this is known as a correlogram. Now the autocorrelation between zt and zt plus k is same as the autocorrelation between zt and zt minus k also. So in this case, rho k is equal to rho minus k also. So rho 1 equal to rho minus 1. Rho 1, it is the correlation between, autocorrelation between zt, zt plus 1. Rho minus 1, autocorrelation between zt and zt minus 1. So this is lag is 1 only. So rho minus 1 equal to rho plus 1. Similarly, rho minus k equal to rho plus k. This is, so that is why we always plot the positive values of k. We need not plot the negative values of k here in the correlogram. Since it is symmetric for positive and negative values, we only consider here the correlogram as a function of k, where k is only greater than equal to 0. Now, thank you. So in the next, we shall consider how we have to estimate these values based upon the sample. That means estimate the mean function, estimate the variance function, estimate the autocorrelations and autocovariance from the sample values. Thank you. Thank you all.